Gaming Bell presents 15 video game mashups that are too good to happen. For all the licensed games based on movies, cartoons and even books, there aren't that many video games based on other video games. Maybe a better thing to call it would be a mashup. You know, like those Sonic and Mario Olympics games that only 5 people have ever played. Imagine if there were more games like that, where 2 iconic characters come together in a real game, not some spin-off sports or fighting game. So we've been thinking, what are some games that would make good mashups, and why? Sonic and FIFA. Okay, I said no sports game, but I can't help but think that this would be great. A soccer/football game where you ran around as Sonic. Think about how fast the game would be. There would be so many goals scored, it'd be ridiculous. Maybe Sonic can have some power where he can pop the ball with his spines, or maybe he can curl up and become the ball itself. Metal Gear Solid and Splinter Cell. This one's obvious. The 2 premier stealth franchises are in a perfect position to team up, with Konami abandoning the franchise more or less and Splinter Cell being terrible lately. Maybe you could play as Sam Fisher and sneak into Konami headquarters and steal the rights to Metal Gear. Or you could take Snake through the offices of Ubisoft and steal Fisher's goggles. The Last of Us and The Walking Dead. Another obvious game that would be a home run. The Last of Us and Telltale's The Walking Dead are some of the best examples of storytelling in gaming. I can see it now. Clementine and Ellie would be best friends. Kenny and Joel will have southern accents contests. And the walkers and clickers can have a dance-off. Who wouldn't want to see that? Oddworld and Mass Effect. Okay, now this one will take some explaining. Imagine Commander Shepard and his gang travelling to Oddworld and helping the Muddercons escape, or relying on the Glucons to wipe those Muddercons out. Seeing your Shepard and Abe interacting would be an interesting experience to say the least. It could be fun to turn Mass Effect's gameplay on its head too, putting Shepard in a 2D puzzle arena and forcing the player to simply escape a massive death trap. Cooking Mama and Trauma Center. Both of these games are fairly similar in how they play, and that you don't really expect them to be games. Separately, they're great, but what if Nintendo combined them into Cooking Center, or better, Trauma Mama? You have to save your patients' lives while also saving the hospital's kitchen by cooking great meals at the same time. Or maybe you could cook sick people while trying to perform surgery on food, if you want to put a unique twist on it. Doom and Metroid. I can't be the only one who thinks this is obvious. The aliens in Metroid, particularly Metroid Prime, and the space setting, combined with the space setting in Doom 3 and the demons from Hell, are nearly one in the same. Kinda. Take Samus to Hell while battling demons, or battle your way to Mother Brian. They're practically the same game if you don't think about it too hard, or at all. Fallout and Mario. The Mushroom Kingdom was destroyed when Bowser launched nuclear missiles at the castle, and in retaliation, Princess Peach gave the order to fire their payload back. Now, after spending years in the Fallout Vault, Mario and Peach emerge to find a new kingdom. Luigi is now a ghoul, Toadstool is a super mutant, and Yoshi is a hardened raider, killing and looting his way through the lands. It writes itself. Five Nights at Freddy's and Pikmin. Replace all the monsters in Five Nights at Freddy's with the various forms of Pikmin, and what do you have? A suddenly very adorable but still frightening experience. Probably. Or maybe you'd prefer to throw those robotic monstrosities in a Pikmin game and give them orders, only for them to turn around and yell boo at you, or whatever it is they do. That could work. Hitman and Assassin's Creed. Assassin's Creed and Hitman are surprisingly similar games, and not just in the sense you're playing an assassin in both. You have a relatively big world to explore, multiple ways of killing your targets, at least in the earlier Assassin's Creed games, and they both give you a lot of toys to play with. So here's the pitch. Put Agent 47 in the Animus and let the player experience all of his ancestors' memories as assassins and killers. Another one that writes itself. Heavy Rain and Call of Duty. These 2 games are very different from each other. They're polar opposites, Heavy Rain being a story-driven game with not much player interaction, and Call of Duty being an over-the-top action fest. That's why they'd work so well together. Take your typical Call of Duty protagonist and put them in a Heavy Rain game. They've just murdered thousands of people and they have to try and live a normal life. Or take Ethan Mars from Heavy Rain and throw him in combat armor and give him a rifle and desperately try to aim and take cover in Heavy Rain's weird controls. Brothers in Arms and Battlefield 1. Brothers in Arms is an oft-forgotten World War II tactical first-person shooter, but it was really good back in the day. Battlefield, on the other hand, is extremely popular, and it's known for its action-heavy combat that has an estranged relationship with realism. If someone were to take the World War I setting in Battlefield 1 and the tactics and story-driven mechanics in Brothers in Arms and made a game out of it, there'd be no doubt it'd kick off a new genre of World War games on its own. Jak and Daxter and Shantae. Unfortunately, 3D platformers are more or less dead. Jak and Daxter was one of the best, while Shantae is one of the better 2D platformers available. Putting Shantae in a 3D world would no doubt make a great game. But what about Jak and Daxter's world? It's a perfect fit. With Shantae's genie, pirate motifs and Jak and Daxter's gritty futuristic setting, the two play off well together, and the dynamic duo meeting Shantae would make a great fish out of the water story. Thief and Sly Cooper. Two very different games with very different themes. Sly Cooper and Thief would work surprisingly well together. Thief's dark and gritty world contrasted with Sly Cooper's colourful, vibrant and kiddie environments might not be the best match, but a mashup of gameplay styles very well could. Setting the next Thief game in Sly Cooper 2's Paris level, for example, would be an absolute blast. On the flip side, watching Sly and gang get absolutely annihilated by the sword swinging and swearing guards in Thief would be equally amusing. Grand Theft Auto and Katamari Damacy. What would it be like to play a GTA game, going around robbing people or jumping off buildings, racing your car through oncoming traffic, when all of a sudden the prince and his giant bull consuming everything showed up? It turns into a race for survival, as you speed away from the incoming orb at high speed, trying to shoot it back but not having any luck. Alternatively, think of what it would be like playing Trevor in the world of Katamari Damacy. I'll just leave that thought there actually. Gears of War and Madden NFL. How has this one not happened yet? Everyone in Gears of War looks like an NFL player already with their massive neck muscles, and Cole was a football player anyway. You could use a locust head as a football, and you could tackle people with chainsaws. Or you could play as Cam Newton or Peyton Manning in Gears of War, killing the locusts with football and bashing them down with your helmets.
Like this video? Why not give us a like and subscribe? We try and upload amazing videos almost every single day. Thank you for watching this video, and we'll see you on the next one.